How you doing? It's 5 o'clock on Monday. Just giving some thoughts for the day. Some stuff I've been thinking about over the weekend. If you're an evangelist, I hope that this will encourage you. We're putting on a couple of different platforms. 5 things every evangelist needs to know about themselves. I'm going to cover one each day this week. I'll just jump on at different times. Just 5 things that are really important. If you feel that you've got a call to evangelism, to be an evangelist, to share the good news of Jesus, I hope that these will help you. The first one I want to share today is this, if you're listening up, is that you are an amplifier. You are an amplifier. What does that mean when I say you are an amplifier? Well, basically, what I'm saying is that what you put into your life is what you put out. And what you put out, you will amplify through your character, through your conduct. So what are you putting into your life? An amplifier takes something small and it makes it bigger, it makes it louder. So if you're an evangelist, that's what you are. You're an amplifier. It's important that you learn that, and then you learn how to manage what you amplify. So just some little points that I hope will help. The first one is this, that if you understand that you are an evangelist and that you amplify, then you need to make sure that what you bring in is the right thing that you're going to put out. You don't want to be putting out negative talk and backbiting and stuff. So it's a really important, like, first thing in the day, get a healthy breakfast, and after that or before that, make sure that you're bringing in the Word of God, because what comes into you is what goes out. In fact, Matthew 15, it says this, it's not that what goes into a man's mouth that defiles him, but it's what comes out. But actually what we put into our lives shapes what goes out. So it's important that you get the Word of God, and you get the Word of God early in the day, that you're nourishing yourself in that early on. That's really important. Second thing, just you're an amplifier, and so therefore you've got to control what comes into your life. So over the last whatever it's been, 14 or 15 weeks, I've made a conscious decision not to go straight to BBC News first thing in the morning. Not the BBC News. BBC News is necessarily bad, but I don't want to be influenced just by the things that are coming into my life in those ways. It's like I want to hear the Word of God first. I don't want to be influenced by other things. I don't want negative talk to come into me, because I'm going to amplify that. If I've got negative news and negative people and angry reports and gossip, that's going to shape me, and that's going to come out of me, because I'm an amplifier. That's what I am. So I need to make sure that I don't bring unhealthy things into my life. The third thing, if you understand that you're an amplifier, is this, that you've got to filter out the background noise. Don't get distracted by the background noise. So look at what the most important things are. So I enjoy listening to podcasts. So there's different preachers that I listen to, different evangelists, not just listening, but what I read. And I've learned to filter out the background noise so that I can amplify the right thing. So, some evangelists or whatever, they want to go down a political route. I'm not interested in talking about politics. It's not my thing. So I filter out the political things because it's not for me, and then I make sure that I'm just pushing out the main thing. So if you think about it and you're listening to an amplifier, you've got some fancy technology there that can adjust the frequency so that you get the right thing going out, which leads to a kind of a fourth point, which is this. So again, if you're an evangelist, you're an amplifier, and the fourth point is this: adjust the volume of the frequency of what you're amplifying to your audience. Adjust the volume and frequency of what you're amplifying for your audience. So what you bring in through the Word of God, how do you bring that out into what audience? So for example, young people today, if they're listening to like Beats headphones, so what happens in a Beats Dr. Dre headphone is that they amplify the bass. Why? Because young people like that. And so that's how they work. That's the science behind it. So when you've taken something in from the Word of God, think about how you can amplify that, what frequencies you need to increase or decrease, so that for an older congregation, a younger crowd, whether it's one-on-one in a coffee shop, you don't speak to someone one-on-one in a coffee shop the same way as you would preach to 50 people or 100 people. Or if you're doing something online, then it's different what you do online compared to what you're going to do in a church. So that's really important, that you adjust the volume and frequency as an amplifier so that your audience can not only get it, but they can enjoy it. And the fifth point is the most important one, is this: beware of feedback loops. So you're an amplifier, but you've got to beware of feedback loops. Do you know what a feedback loop is? Do you know when the microphone goes too close to the speaker and you get that big scream? Basically what happens is this, right? The microphone takes your voice and it puts it through an amplifier and makes it louder, and it comes out the speaker. So when a feedback loop happens, then the microphone gets the amplified sound, feeds it back in, and it keeps going round and round, amplifying, and then it gets so loud that it starts to scream. And you keep that doing, you'll not only make engineers like John Willis and Jim Verner pretty mad, but you'll blow the amp and you'll destroy the speaker. It's a feedback loop. And as evangelists, we need to watch that we don't get caught in a feedback loop. Unhealthy feedback. There's two ways this can happen. One is your own ego. You get stuck in a feedback loop of your own ego. All you're caught up in doing is like listening to yourself or your good reports or how many likes you get on a page. And so you get stuck in a feedback loop where you strive for just like your own affirmation. You need people to be encouraging you, and your feedback loop is just all about you. And that's an unhealthy place for you to be. The second and the more dangerous one is one where, in that striving for affirmation, the feedback loop destroys you because you don't get the affirmation. And you get something that's negative. Someone says something that's negative or critical to you, and you get stuck in that. And in that feedback loop and that criticism, right, it kind of goes in and you play on it all day long, over and over and over again. You're thinking about it. What did they say? Why did they say that? What did they mean by that? And you get trapped in an unhealthy feedback loop. Someone says one thing, you amplify it in your mind and you play it over and over and over again. And you get trapped because of what other people think of you, and before you know it, you're having chest pains, you're having anxiety, and it's all because you've been stuck in a feedback loop. Evangelists need to remember that we are amplifiers, and as amplifiers, we need to, number one, we need to make sure that we're bringing in the Word of God. Number two, that we're able to filter out other things. Number three, that we're able to give out the right kind of frequencies and filter out background noise. Four, that we get the right volume and frequency of how we deliver the good news to others, and we don't get caught in a feedback loop. Evangelists, you're an amplifier. Make sure you take the Bible, the Word of God, and you amplify that well. Hopefully, we'll catch up with point number 2 later on this week. God bless. Bye-bye.